All right, we're back for another Web3 rundown. Joe, how you doing today, man?
Doing good as usual. Let's go.
Yeah, let's jump into it. And I'm just gonna share my screen right off the bat here, and we'll talk about the overall market. Right now, you can see Bitcoin right around 94,000, Ethereum 1,700, good old Solana 143, Fear and Greed meter sitting right around a 50, really neutral and not really much going on. It feels like, right, Joe? It just feels like we're in a little choppy time. We've been up only, it felt like, for the past couple weeks, but it's slowing down, huh?
Yeah, we've been going up, so this is the small correction afterwards, and we're just waiting for, stuff to happen before we make the next move.
Yeah, and I think this is overall personally somewhat healthy for the market, in my opinion, is that we're just going to get a little bit of a chop. You never want to go up in a straight line. Nothing does well going up in a straight line. So let's get a little bit of chop. But we're going to talk about a little bit of FUD that's been kind of brewing around the crypto industry, especially kind of like last night. There's always something out there where someone's going to be talking a little bit about FUD. But before we do that, I want to show off a little bit about the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF stats. Still looking pretty strong. This is really the smart money. This is where the money is flowing. We've seen a substantial amount of green days. I think last week I read we had about like $1.9 billion in Bitcoin ETF inflows. They're not getting so the grayscales of the world still are not getting shaken off of Bitcoin. Let's jump over and look at Ethereum. More green days than red days, huh?
Yeah, interesting to see what's moving that.
Yeah, exactly. So, we've had some good flow, but what I was referring to about some of this FUD, Joe and I are going to talk a little bit about it, is really about like the crypto industry in overall just legislation and regulation. Like I said, coming in like really the summer where we're going to be talking more about stable coins and RWAs, it's really becoming more of a political issue, it feels like. And we were just talking about this before we jumped on the rundown. And a lot of the Democrats who maybe at one point supported crypto legislation and liked the idea of blockchain are now starting to second guess themselves a little bit, it seems like. And a lot of it is due to the fact, in my personal opinion, and what's being talked about on, pretty much crypto Twitter, is how integrated Trump and the Trump family has been in a lot of different crypto projects. I guess where I'm going with this, Joe, is what are your thoughts there? Do you think the more integrated our current sitting president gets into crypto and personally could be profiting, could hurt this crypto legislation? Do you think some Democrats are gonna, be a little bit scared off? What's your overall thought there?
Yeah, he's been ingrained pretty, well in all facets. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. His team is definitely on top of it. I don't mind it personally. Personally, I don't mind it at all. I think that, it shows what America's all about, right? Everyone can go out there, create, invest, speculate and whatnot. But I guess if you're the president of the United States, you might be held to different standards. So I really haven't thought fully about it because I don't know all the, the political agendas that may or may not exist and how people can weaponize, what he's doing. So, it'll be interesting to see. It seems like people are not attacking Trump now, but just more like legislation for Arizona. The governor doesn't think it's a good use of state money, whatnot. But yeah, we could have a different tune next week.
Yeah, and you hit it. It could definitely have a different tune next week, but right now that's kind of the FUD that's been, I feel like, suppressing the price a little bit. And we saw that the Arizona governor, Katie Hobbs, is now causing a little bit more of a stalemate here, or stopping the legislation in the Bitcoin industry, or essentially using Bitcoin as a reserve for the
Right.
state of Arizona. So that's not the greatest news in the world, in my opinion, because that was passed on different levels, but she stopped it at the end of the day. And then I want to bring up another share here on my screen is that I wanted to talk a little bit about Donald Trump again, in that we have a couple crypto focused dinners. So we're talking about how he's so integrated in the world of crypto. And in the month of May, he has two crypto dinners coming up. So at one point, I would think this was just so bullish at the end of the day. Now I'm starting to think, man, I'm not sure. The Democrats are going to start like pulling out support because they don't want to support Trump and some of his agendas. So just overall something for us all to watch. Um, And then Joe, you actually shared this article with me that the crypto market's holding its breath ahead of the Federal Reserve decision, Bitcoin hovering right around 94. What's going on with the Fed? What are we looking for?
Think the macro is just waiting for interest rates. And, Donald Trump's been very vocal on X talking about lower the rates. And that's what everyone's kind of waiting to see if that's going to happen. And I guess, well, not guess, crypto is really honing in on that. But regardless, Bitcoin's at 95,000, which is, everyone's all bummed, but Bitcoin's at 95,000.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of bringing a little bummer mood. I'm talking about all these legislations and regulation, not to deter anybody. I'm still as bullish as ever. And you're right, Bitcoin's sitting at $94,000 and kind of chopping in a very interesting range. Just a couple weeks ago, we were chopping in the 70s and 80s. So being in the 90s is great. And personally, I do believe that once we get close to an all-time high, we're going to hit a next leg up and really take off. But there's always something developing here in the crypto world, and I just hope the innovation at the end of the day for the United States utilizing crypto and blockchain isn't going to be held back due to it being a political issue. That's my biggest take. I don't want it to be a political issue. I want it to be what's best for the country moving forward. And we obviously know where our personal feelings are as well. In other news, kind of talking about some of the macros, DeFi Development, previously Janover, we talked about this last week, acquired another $72 million worth of Solana. So they're basically the MicroStrategy of Solana. They continue doubling down. That's exciting to see as well. And then good old gold. I'll tell you what. I want digital gold to rip as hard as regular gold right now, but gold just at the end of the day is approaching $3,400 an
Ooh.
ounce. Pretty impressive stuff. All the gold bugs out there. Congratulations. Obviously, I want it to go up because usually when gold goes up, Bitcoin doesn't lag too far behind.
I wonder how our good friend Ron is doing over at Unicorn Fark does because he was a gold maximalist. Hopefully he didn't sell all his gold for meme coins. No, he still got a UFD on his banner and profile picture, so he definitely didn't revert back to gold. I just think of him every time we talk about gold because he's probably sitting pretty if he held all that gold.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty good. He had to wait a time for it to appreciate as much as it has, but the global uncertainty of tariffs and wars and the current sitting administration in the United States makes people flock to safe assets. And a lot of people in the old school world look at gold as the safest asset out there. If you're asking me, I think digital gold, also known as Bitcoin, is a great alternative, but not financial advice.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind it personally. Obviously, a lot of our, friends, family, parents have a lot of assets in gold, probably a lot of our financial institutions. So we definitely want that to continue rising. It's only going to make a better case for Bitcoin in the future generations that, hey, this is a better hedge against inflation or the U.S. Economy. That's one thing I saw yesterday was that Bitcoin can be seen as a gold is more of like a global hedge supposedly, and Bitcoin and or crypto can be a U.S. hedge, so against U.S. economics. So if that makes sense, then that's where a lot of companies are positioning themselves to either hold Bitcoin as a treasury asset. So even if the states don't approve the state reserves, there's rumors saying that Nvidia yesterday, I'm not sure you heard, Nvidia might start buying Bitcoin because it dropped 22% from its highs. But we're seeing that, right? We saw some macros news about Goldman Sachs tokenizing money market funds, and so basically everything's moving on chain. Doesn't matter what the states say. Doesn't matter what Democrats say. Is U.S. is driven by the private economy, right, and a republic, but they're all moving towards crypto. They're all moving towards crypto and adoption of technology because it's just faster, more efficient, make more profit for the end users.
Yeah, for sure. And it's exciting time to be in the crypto world and with everything buzzing right now. You want to talk a little bit about DeFi? We were talking about a little Bitcoin DeFi before the show. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, Bitcoin DeFi seems to have, I'm sorry, DeFi summer seems to have come early in the form of Bitcoin. So unbeknownst to myself, it's thriving. It's 6% of all DeFi, you know, TVL is in Bitcoin. Solana, Ethereum still Mac Daddy, then Solana, then Bitcoin, which is interesting to see. And the one leading the charge, I would say, is X first. You can earn Xverse is a hot wallet. It's decent. Well, I wouldn't call it decentralized. The hot wallet's not, but it helps you to manage your decentralized wallet. And Bitcoin is a very sophisticated wallet that can separate your NFTs, ordinals on there alongside meme coins on Bitcoin. And there's a lot of staking sites now. So Pendo's on there. Pendo's really big. So we're going to jump a little bit deeper into this on how you can earn Bitcoin within our private community. It seems like it's already popping. I know a lot of people have their kind of emergency funds or a lot of their investment portfolio inside of Bitcoin. And if there's a safe way to earn interest on it, then why not, right? We have it anyways. I know Saylor does not approve of this. He says just, keep it. He just says keep it, get the 40% a year. That is historically done. But us degens, I'm gonna probably test a little bit and share of our private community how to do that because why not? We're already holding it. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely foolproof if your Bitcoin's on centralized exchanges. We saw what happened with FTX. If you remember BlockFi and Celsius and all these other companies, you rather have that within your self custody. And then if it's within your self custody anyway, would you trust it with an intermediary to earn yield? I think if the yield is high enough, I might risk a small amount, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're a little bit of risk takers compared to the regular traditional financial world. I'm certainly interested as well. It probably makes sense to, of course, you never want to use your entire stack or your nest egg, or if you have multi-sig wallets or anything along those lines. Sometimes you just want pure cold storage to, sleep good at night. But I know a lot of these Bitcoin DeFi companies have been touting that you still can have self custody of your keys, of your coins. So I'm certainly interested because you're right, we're holding it. Why not earn an extremely attractive yield? So I'm going to rely on you, Joe. Not going to lie. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. I'm down more rabbit holes than I know what to do with. And you're going to come out and you're going to be like, this is the best way for us to earn yield on Bitcoin. I'm going to be very excited to test it out with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely lead the charge there. And yeah, Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And Tether is bringing stable coins onto Bitcoin, which is funny. Who's using Bitcoin network for stable coins? But my theory is that they have a lot of Bitcoin, right? They're trying to back up their assets with Bitcoin, so they obviously want the asset to do well. And then if people aren't mining it, if they're not securing the networks, then everything kind of fails, right? So that's kind of my thesis on why Tether is launching stablecoins on Bitcoin, but also part because it can be utilized in DeFi. I didn't know it was such a thriving and robust ecosystem over there. It's everyone's talking about it right now, so definitely worthwhile to look into.
Yeah, with Bitcoin dominance as high as it's been right now, and it looks like it's continuing to increase, there's going to be more and more opportunities out there. And we have some people investing in the streets here and not just Bitcoin, though. Let's talk about Fright Technologies. They announced that their plans to acquire the Trump meme coin. The Trump meme coin has made its fair share of positive and negative news over the past few months. They're raising up to $20 million in senior notes to buy into the Trump meme coin. And according to Tyler's tweet here, it looks like the market did not like the news. So you hear about Fright Technology making a pretty big acquisition in the Trump meme coin, and it's down 30%. I personally would have thought that it would have moved it in a positive way. But, I think there's some shaky ground right now with Trump and his involvement in the crypto world and what he's using his Trump token for. I do think it's a great idea. He's using that Trump token to have people come to the White House for a dinner, express their support. It makes a lot of sense to have a meme coin, even as a political figurehead, and utilize it as a utility coin. I love that idea. But some people could get salty out there, but just really interesting. I had to call it out that Fright Technologies turned 20 million at the Trump meme coin.
Yeah, the meme coin category is a lot different than, crypto, DeFi, and all that stuff. I obviously have an opinion because I love meme coins. I don't think they're going anywhere. Sure, Trump might not be involved in it, but it doesn't mean that meme coins would die. It might even be better, because he tanked the market with freaking Melania, right? I mean, he did prop it up a little bit also. So, but overall, net, it's a win. Like he has Sachs on his team helping with the crypto movement. Definitely that's moving along. Him, tied with the meme coin world. I don't know, it's a love hate. I love it. If I had enough, I would go to the dinner, Brian.
Yeah, that would be that, I mean, that would be very interesting. What a way to tell our community. I mean, a
Yeah.
whole story behind it. We actually need to get you there the more I think about it. A whole story behind it with you attending the dinner and meeting Trump and your whole experience behind it. Uh, it's interesting times, and it's not just Trump that's getting involved with meme coins either. We had over the weekend one of the more popular runners out there is a meme coin called Gork. I was in it for a couple hours and out of it. It was a play off of the AI agent Grok, which is Twitter's essential AI agent or AI chatbot, whatever you want to call it. And it's a pretty good AI. I like Grok quite a bit because it's integrated with Twitter. But a lot of people, it called Gork a meme coin of an AI bot. That's pretty much what it was. It was going down only for a while. Of course, it caught, steam, and then it was starting to go down only. Then all of a sudden, Elon starts engaging with it, changes his profile picture to represent it. It starts engaging in with the community Gork, and it skyrocketed up. But I think it's been down ever since. So, it's one of those. If you're there at the right time and you're holding a moon bag and it takes off, you definitely sell when Elon starts talking about it and making his profile pic. Don't buy in at the Pico top there. But it's still interesting to see that how Elon's still engaging in random meme coins and not just Dogecoin. I think his overall influence is starting to, decline at the end of the day, but he can still move a market.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting this whole meme culture, and I don't think we covered it last week, but there's the actual developments from memes that, are doing actual things. I'll just share my screen really quickly, in case we didn't talk about it last week. Let me see over here. Bam. Remember this? Floki, Rice Robots. I mean, we talked about this with our private community also. But Floki, who is the name of Elon's sheep, believe it or not, is one of the. They've been around for 4 years. They've been a top 10 meme for 4 years straight. They haven't, faltered from that. And they just launched a AI physical robot with Rice Robotics, an actual robotics company with robots inside of 7-Eleven, in 3 different countries. And they're going to launch the Rice token. I signed myself up for the wait list. There's 60,000 people on the wait list. It's just a glorified Siri for all I'm concerned. But, if it can cook right, and it's not a rice cooker, it's funny because it looks like a Chinese rice cooker and it is an Asian company. But they're all graduated from UC Berkeley. So is it a California company or is it a company in Hong Kong? But they're a real company doing real robotics and you can earn tokens from interacting. So Siri does not give me tokens, nor does ChatGPT. I might just exclusively use Rice if and when I get one of these. And I told our company, I was like, hey, we need one for our company office, which is actually a playroom, a sports room.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, some of these meme coins out there are still shipping developments. They have, actual funding and they're trying to branch out more of being just a meme coin. They were born as a meme coin, now becoming a fun utility coin, a community coin, a content coin. So that's why I'm bullish on meme coins as well in the long term. If you asked me years ago, whenever we're talking like the early Doge days, I really wasn't a big fan of it because I was like, they're creating more coins it's inflationary. They're creating more coins every day. I don't get it. I was much more ingrained in altcoins and just being a Bitcoin maxi. But now the times have changed where I absolutely am now full force into certain meme coins, and I really believe in some of them doing something bigger than just being a meme. And then there's also meme coins out there where I think their meme is going to carry them to a multi-billion dollar market cap just because it's so widespread. And examples there would probably be like Pepe, Fartcoin, just off the top of my head.
I thought about for you, what right when you were talking about ones that communities build that may or may not, you didn't say this, but may or may not represent, our thoughts and beliefs. And I was like, I could see Brian rocking a fart coin hoodie or whatnot, and that's an interesting thought, right? Because we saw NFTs evolve into brands like Pudgy Penguins. I'm wondering if it needs to be an actual brand like Floki and his Rice Robot, or is it just cool, to rep that brand as a smaller niche? But I would like to see a brand come out of a meme coin. That'd be very interesting, like an actual company and brand evolve from a meme coin. We've seen that in the NFT world that's thriving right now in the forms of pudgies, toys in the stores, and it'll be interesting to see that come out of the meme world. I guess the Trump token is the actual, thing, right? It's freaking the president's launching dinners off of it. But the unlock is just crazy. The 80% supply for the insiders is just insane. I would like to see an actual, like, a meme coin with not 80% supply locked, become an actual brand.
Yeah, the tokenomics of the coin is not the best, but at the end of the day, the most powerful man in the free world who literally signs legislation on his desk created it. So it's a double-edged sword, that's for sure.
Let's talk about oops, sorry, here. Let's talk about meme coins again. Well, yeah, we'll talk about one that's launching right now. You said maybe today, right? Right? Dude.
There's rumors it could be happening today. I'm a Doodles holder, and I've been seeing a little bit of buzz out there, but it's not just Doodles holders. I think the
Yeah,
OG
look at
Doodles
this.
holders are going to get quite a bit, but a lot of people that have integrated in a lot of different platforms, held different NFTs are going to be rewarded. And I've read some serious speculation out there what dude could actually be, and you can go down a rabbit hole and get pretty excited.
I'm excited already. Just I didn't notice waking up today until you shared it. But hey, I'm a Jupe staker. We talked about it with our community. I love Jupe. I keep on making residual off of Jupe. I'm a bonk staker. Talked about that with our community also. NFT blue chip holder, maybe yeah. I guess I would be a pudgy, little pudgy holder. So OG, I check all these boxes, Brian. Hopefully, I get a 4 to 5 figure dude airdrop and not even owning a doodles. That would be amazing. But great to see that we're kind of aligned with, the I would say the macro or what's the OG um collections or actions that would get your free stuff, which is jupe staking, bonk staking, NFT blue chips, and so we hit all those boxes, Brian.
Yeah, we hit those boxes. We have a similar thesis, I guess, of what the guys at over at Doodles is building. Um, yeah, I think this token, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it dropping on Abstract?
I thought it was on Solana.
Me too. I
Yeah.
thought it was on Solana as well. Now, when you say that, I thought it was on Solana. Just for some reason, I thought I saw something about Doodles or Dude in Abstract. I'm gonna have to look into that, or maybe something that's going to also be launched on Abstract. Yeah, you're right. I think it is Solana. They made that announcement. So there's going to be some exciting stuff out there. Now, there's also there was a snapshot. I think we don't have to share the screen, but there was a snapshot regarding Abstract that it looks like
Oh.
OpenSea is going to be
Oh
bringing
yeah.
NFTs to their platform. So Abstract's going to be available on OpenSea. I'll say time and time again, OpenSea's kind of shipping. I mean, they're 4 or 5 years too late, but they're shipping new features every single day, and I'm happy for Abstract. We're big fans of the NFTs. We're big fans of the entire platform, and OpenSea is still a major marketplace. So, sign me up.
Yeah. Abstract as there's a long thread that you shared too. Talked about ACH, credit cards, bank accounts, onboarding, Amazon, Shopify. Did you dive into that thread? Because I haven't. I mean, I know I'm bullish on Abstract. I don't need any more fuel to the fire, but was there any tidbits from that thread that you got?
I didn't I read it, but I don't remember it enough to like give accurate advice, but there are some good threads out there on Abstract and what they're building right now. I'm actually looking for that thread as we speak. See if I could bring it up.
All good. I just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything for the abstract world. But in world of NFTs, there's still stuff happening. FIFA, did you see that news? FIFA is launching their own blockchain to launch their not launch to migrate their NFTs over. So this is pretty big news. This is from the FIFA Association itself. They've launched notably on pretty much all blockchains, but this they're going to do this on the EVM level, and they're migrating everything. They're absorbing everything into them. So I'm not sure what big learning lesson I got from this besides that FIFA is pretty bullish on blockchain and collectibles. They must be making a lot. FIFA is probably like the world sport, I would like to say, right, Brian? They have probably the most engaged viewership across the globe. People think Super Bowl is big, but isn't it like 2 billion people watch like the World Cup or something like that?
Yeah, it's an absolute insane number. So it's great to see this, and this is jogging my memory from maybe a month or two ago. There was something along the lines that a major person within the FIFA organization, it was like the president or something along those lines, was like connected with Trump and had a dinner with him
Oh, that's
and
right.
integrating with crypto. So I just remember doing a market update on it and thinking like, geez, this is like extremely bullish news. We have this major sports league that is obviously moving over into the blockchain world. And we're just going to see more and more of this. And, what that would have just lit the charts on fire a couple years ago. People, absolutely running to buy more and more crypto is now we're getting bullish news every single day. And then, again, the price is still 94,000 bucks. I mean, we're still sitting pretty good in the Bitcoin world.
Yeah, I mean, there's funny enough, there's a lot of NFT news that's happening. There's a pretty big win for, yeah, it has implications for the crypto world because the US crypto iOS apps can now link to external NFT shops, which is a lot of people didn't want to be on the Apple App Store with the blockchain games or what or whatnot because Apple takes the Apple tax, the 30% tax for anything and everything, which is a lot of money. So now that that's the case has been won by Epic Games, which is Fortnite, then everyone's going to have the chance to sell their own in-game economy NFTs, digital assets. So that would have been like crazy news maybe a year and a half ago, but now it's kind of like by the wayside because the sentiment has kind of gone by the wayside for a lot of these I wouldn't say games, but just there's so much use cases now that this is just one that people are expecting to come on board. But yeah, over in the NFT world, I could dive into the collections, but there's life there in these big sports organizations. NBA is still there. NFL is kind of doing their thing. I had a friend who made $1,000 yesterday on NBA Top Shot by accident. He didn't even know. He's like, "Oh, I got a pack for $99," and he sold it for $1,200. And I'm not gonna put his username on the show, but within that pack, he had the here, I'll just show it. He had the ultimate. Let me share my screen here because it's so cool. This
What
story,
pack was it?
So what they've done is that there's been so many game winners. There was the Tyrese Halliburton game winner. There was a Jalen Brunson winner. So they released these individual packs. So you can see the sale price here. He sold this for $1,200, right? Within it was a Jalen Brunson Ultimate 10 of 10 perfect serial. So basically, there's only 10 of these in existence, only one circulating right now. And this guy's listening it for the guy who bought this pack for $1,200 actually spent like $5,000 on packs just to get that one. And he got it. My friend had it. He sold it. Had my friend opened it, he would have had that also. But it might or might not sell for, $2,000 to $5,000. Who knows? But regardless, it's a big win. It's a 10x win, for something that's as simple as $100 buy.
What am I missing here, Joe? Are there with NBA Top Shot? I still have a slew of cards. I'm probably not logging in enough. Are there? Is this a playoff pack when you're saying the game winner? Is this like a because
No,
Brunson?
this I guess this is the interesting use case with NFTs, right? You can't really do this with cardboard, right? Like, um, you know, Steph hits his night night shot, right? Let's just
Yeah.
say that. They can instantaneously make that into an NFT, right? Just like a meme coin. But they can sell it into a market that collects sports collectibles. So that's what this Jalen Brunson is. It's not specifically a playoff pack containing a lot of different types of plays. It's one person, one play, and you can either get a very common one, a rare one, a legendary one, or in this case, an ultimate one. So my friend had the ultimate. He didn't know he had the ultimate. He just sold the pack because people are buying these packs in the aftermarket like rabid crazy people. There was only 39 packs in existence, but that's not the point. My other friend, bought a different pack for $100 and he flipped it for $300. Yes, small win, right? 200 versus 1,000, but people are making money. I'm like, what? I am focusing on the wrong things. Let me get back into these basketball mean streets. But what I was trying to say is that, yeah, you love to hear these stories. You hear about the life-changing gains, $1 million millionaires overnight in the meme coins, but people can incrementally, arbitrage, I wouldn't say arbitrage, but make money off of opportunities that they can do in the Web 2 world is just translate to Web 3 world. It's just more efficient, better, faster. To do that in the regular world, right? You would have to go out there to Costco, punch parents in the face, buy a box of cards, right? Get it, what is it? Scored or whatever, and
Graded,
by
yeah.
PSA. Then you send it out, right? And then all that's, it's just we're not going backwards, right? But it just doesn't take some time for the average person to really understand the benefits.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most attracted to, and I always have been with NBA Top Shot, is just fun. To get even digital packs. People talk about in the physical world ripping packs because you're physically ripping packs. And that's a lot of fun. And a lot of the time, it's like not even plus money when you rip a pack. Selling a pack in tax is the way to go. But it's fun at the end of the day because you could score a particular 1 of 1 or 10 of 10. And it's really cool to be able to do it digitally. Like you said, you're not, fighting people at Costco or going to trade card shows. And you can still do that. That's not taken away from anybody. I still actually collect cardboard sports cards because there's a nostalgic vibe there for me, and sometimes I do like that. But I remember whenever I was heavily into NBA Top Shot, how fun it is, and it's great to see it doing well here. And I'm looking at some of the recent big sales. There's a handful of ultimates here that sold for 12,000, 5,000, a couple legendaries for 5,000. So this isn't small potatoes. I mean, there's some money to be made out there.
Yeah, and the WNBA season is just on the way right now. So believe it or not, the WNBA is more rabid, in my opinion, than the NBA. WNBA is really coming up, and yeah, there's going to be probably a lot of fun stuff there, a lot of ways to make money there for those interested within, the NFT world.
And who's the obviously Caitlin Clark really pushed the needle last year with the WNBA, in my opinion, just overall ratings and then just attention. And then obviously it rolled over to attention in NBA Top Shot, WNBA world. Like, I want a Caitlin Clark rookie card for goodness sake. She's electric to watch and people love her. There's a Paige, what's her last name? Buckers. She was the number 1 overall pick this year, I think, coming out of UConn. Uh, that seems like she could bring some buzz as well. Not as much as Caitlin Clark, but she's a popular basketball player. She was awesome in college.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the San Francisco expansion team. There's two new teams in the WM. We're turning into a Barstool episode arc right now. But there's a new team. I'm actually going to a game tonight called the Valkyries, and they recruited one of the top recruits from UConn. Also, I forgot her name already, Caitlin. But yeah, there are a lot of these and new NFTs will come out, and because of the expansion teams, that's why WNBA, at least within the Top Shot world, will probably do good this year also because of those new teams, new players, and there's just more money overall within the WNBA. But uh, uh, the masterclass within WNBA is what I learned is what they did with social media, kind of like what Trump did, right? With on the podcast, they just completely revamped their social media marketing scheme from the top down, and I'm just curious what they have in store for this year. But they're definitely winning.
Yeah. The point is, I think the whole point of this show today is there can be a little bit of uncertainty in the crypto world, but there are massive amount of Web3 companies, crypto companies, meme coin companies, NFTs, absolutely building and shipping projects and whatever really your flavor is. You could find something in the Web3 world that you absolutely adore, absolutely love. I mean, we didn't even talk about gaming. I mean, that can be electric as well. So there's a lot of different areas, and it's something that Joe and I are talking about every single day, every single week. We have a private community where we, talk about some of our favorite positions, what we're thinking, more in depth about the market and particular projects. We also do market updates. We have this rundown show. We host a podcast. It's just a lot of fun. And every single week, there's something different happening. I'll tell you, you can't take no days off.
No days off. We see you guys on next one.